What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. It's Monday night. We're going to rip some drafts, talk about some new contests. Some new contests coming out today. One of them is my favorite. Let's pop open the old Underdog. Want to get into some drafts quickly. I know PPR Tyler's going live with Mason in about, I don't know, half hour or so. So we'll maybe get a draft in before they go live. I figure a lot of people will probably head on over there, but hopefully we want to stay here and draft with me. But let's take a look at the chat. First, we got Pepper Tony first in chat. Appreciate you coming in. We got Who Hames. Appreciate you. Stephen Hines. Good day to all TOTS fans. Appreciate you guys. Steve's in the chat. I'm doing very well, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well out there. New contest. Yeah, let's dig into it. Doc79, appreciate you. And Stephen Hines showing some love. Love to see it. Let's take a look at these new contests. So the Greyhound is taking longer than I figured it would to fill, but I guess the $35 entry point, single entry. It's only 6,300 entries, so it's interesting that it's taken its kind of time to fill up, but that's all right. Then we got the Poodle. So I've made a final in the Poodle last year, the Poodle 3 the year before. So I've made a final in a Poodle for the last 2 years in a row. So I love the Poodles. It's my favorite contest. It's my favorite tournament. I'm going to be maxing that for sure. We got the single entry Corgi, $25K to first for $5. That's pretty good. I'm going to be obviously getting my single entry in there. And then the Pipple. This is another one of my favorites. I mean, I haven't made the final in the Pipple, but this is legitimately like my favorite type of structure. 10 max entry, $20, $100K for first place. That's pretty amazing. Excellent advanced structure. 2 of 12, 1 of 6, 1 of 5, 156 seats in the final. $500 if you make the finals. That's pretty juicy. I'm going to max that as well. So I've got 31 entries to get in the next couple days before these all fill, because I'm definitely going to max all three of these. Obviously, the Corgi's only a single entry. The Schnauzer's almost full. I've got that maxed out. Puppy, but Superflex is still running. That's cool. But today we're going to rip some eliminators. I would do something different. I would do the Poodle or something, but I already made the thumbnail and everything and made the plan for the episode. And I like the eliminator a lot. I think it's a different structure. It is a different structure. We all know that, but I was thinking about as I was thinking about the show tonight, I was thinking about the strategy with this tournament. So let's jump into one and let's talk about it. We'll rip a 20-second clock, make it quick. Let's get a couple quick drafts in, and then I'm going to start working on these other tournaments off stream. So if you want to get into a 20-second eliminator with me, jump in. I think as we get further and further into draft season, I'm starting to think I might just max this thing. We'll see. At least I'll probably get at least 100 entries in this thing, because it's just really fun. It's really, really fun. Bit shot the Greyhound taking so long, no doubt. We got Arizona Mountain Man. How you doing, man? Hopefully you're staying cool out there in Arizona. Appreciate you coming in. They should make them fast. Don't only get these slows out of here. I mean, it's good. Like, it depends on how fast they fill. Because with the German Shepherd, I got 10 slows in the German Shepherd running right now to get my max in. So if I want to, if I get into that position, I might have to throw some slows in myself. I don't love slows either. I'd rather not do any, but if I have to, I do them just to max it out. The elim is fun. So yeah, we got 20-second clock eliminator if you want to jump in. Think the Greyhound would be filled if they did have slows, to be honest. Maybe. I mean, it's only 6,300. Obviously, it's going to fill regardless, but I know it's taken a while to fill those rooms. But Hartman coming in. What's up, man? GM. So let's talk about this eliminator. Like, I was thinking about it today as in the lead up, thinking about the show and the strategy I want to employ. I mean, I'd have to take a look through my eliminator entries that I have so far, which is, let's see how many I have of these done. And let's actually fire in the, I have 15 done. Let's extract these teams so we can have our exposures. We're doing Best Ball overlay extraction right now. So bestballoverlay.com, link in the description. I do not know why anybody wouldn't have a free account over there. Go get a free account. There's tons of free information in there that you can utilize. And then if you feel like you might need the paid subscription, promo code OTS get you 25% off, $10 off. So links in the description there. Let's jump back to the Eliminator so we can get our exposures in that. So I'm going to start treating this like a straight up redraft league, like a managed redraft league. Obviously, we're not managing, we're not setting lineups, but I'm going to draft it like it's a managed redraft team, if that makes sense, which I hope it should. So I'm starting to think like, I think the elite quarterbacks should get kind of pushed up in this. I mean, I know quarterbacks have been getting pushed up and they are more valuable in this structure. Same with running backs, but the tight end as well. Like, let's see where, pick 20. So it's a little lower for Bowers and McBride. They have been falling in Best Ball Mania as well. But I think that could be the strategy that I think I start to employ, because if you are getting an advantage over the rest of the field, basically the reason that I came about this ideology here about drafting it like a managed redraft team, because what do we do? What are we playing in a managed redraft league? We're head to head. You play your opponent every week, right? And you only need to beat that opponent. That's all that matters. It's the same thing in this tournament. That's all that matters, is beat your opponent, 50% advance, right? So you want to draft obviously the highest ceiling weekly. And then again, the other positions just kind of get pushed up, but I think that, like, not bully tight end, don't want to go two, but early tight end and then early quarterback, and then wait till the very end and just go through the NFL schedule. So NFL.com, pull up the schedule. It's like, okay, what week does my quarterback have a bye? Let's look at the top of the quarterback market by week 7, both Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson by week 7. So who do we got? We got the Rams and the Jags. That's a juicy matchup. The Bears and the Saints. That's a pretty juicy matchup. Browns play the Dolphins if you want to go down that road. Jets Panthers is a good one. Titans Patriots, Giants Broncos. Well, on the Broncos side, not necessarily the Giants side. Chargers again against the Colts, only on the Charger side, not on the Colts side for me. Cowboys Commanders, stuff like that. Like, looking through the schedule and finding some juicy matchups where you can just get like a usable quarterback for that week, that your elite quarterback has a bye. And then similar with your tight end. But the reason I'm thinking that is because when we draft in a redraft league, right? And let's say you end up with Josh Allen, okay? There is no week, period. There is no week that you would sit Josh Allen ever, right? Not ever would you ever sit Josh Allen in a redraft league, right? So same thing with Lamar Jackson. So why do we don't need another quarterback until the very end, and then just find one that fits with a good matchup? Obviously, you got to take somebody that you're confident will be the starter. Like, obviously, like the Giants might be a bit of a concern. The Saints would be a concern. Cleveland would be a major concern. So teams like that, you kind of obviously want to, ignore a little bit and not necessarily draft. But other than that, I think that's the way we kind of go. Yeah, it's waivers without waivers, right? Like, you're streaming for that 1 week, and then there's some upside, cool, but I highly kind of doubt there would be. Always go to Phil regardless. I entered lobbies in the 2 nights prior to we did on BBG's channel, just never filled. Yeah, that's why I got it in on BBG's channel too, because I knew it would fill. Obviously, you did the same thing, and then like it'll fill when it fills, and I don't really care. You might get some weird lobbies too, so I was happy to draft it on a stream. I didn't necessarily want to stream it myself, but I wanted to draft it on a stream, knowing it would enter, and also having like a consistent draft room and consistent strategies that make sense, sort of a thing. So that's kind of why I wanted to do that Greyhound. But we're waiting on 3 for this Eliminator. If it doesn't fill relatively quickly, we might have to abandon ship on this. We've got waiting on 3, 20-second Eliminator. It's looking like we're only going to do one of these things if it's going to take a while. Obviously, the new tournaments coming out are going to push people away from the ancillary tournaments, like the Eliminator, like the sprints, like the marathons, and all that. So we'll see if we can get one filled. 20-second Eliminator clock. I just think this is a really fun tournament, and I really want to get kind of as many entries as I can. I think I'm going to do at least 100 of this of the Eliminator. and then kind of take it from there. Waiting on 2, but again, that's my strategy. That's going to be my strategy moving forward. I'd have to look through my previous teams to see kind of the direction that I went. I know I did a lot of 3 quarterback builds, like 3-5-7-3, that sort of thing. We know that that is a very comfy roster construction for advancing in Best Ball Mania and any tournament realistically. So therefore, in theory, it should have a high advanced strategy week in, week out. In this structure, in a 50% advance rate structure. But even in BBMs too, like I'm gonna kind of not like swing for the fences a little bit more. I obviously am already doing that in Best Ball Mania type structures, and I'm gonna do that in the Eliminator for sure, because I think it makes even more sense kind of as you go. Filled the room, love to see it. Let's pull up the Eliminator exposures, because I do want to even it out somewhat. I want to get my guys at the same time, but I do want to even it out somewhat. So we've got me in the 4 spot. We've got Hartman in the 6 spot. Champs in the 8 spot. LOL Hot Dogs. I don't know if he's in the chat, but I've definitely drafted with him before in the 9 spot. Steve's in the 10 spot. UFC Jaguar in the 11 spot. And we got Pepper Tony in the 12 spot. So we got a whole bunch of in the chat at the end of the draft here. 8 through 12, we've got 4 of the 5. And then Hartman's over here. I think that's it. If you're in the draft, let me know. Let me know if you're in, and we'll kind of take it from there. Just entered nude for me. $10 learning curve. Punished, says Pepper Tony. Bindles, what's up, man? Appreciate you popping in. So real in this, the biggest advice I could give Stephen Hines is correlation is pointless. It means absolutely nothing. It's completely pointless. You do not need to correlate anything. Again, I'm drafting this. I'm going to draft all the rest of my eliminators like it's a redraft league, like it's a managed redraft team. That's how I'm going to draft. So you do not need any correlation. Don't worry about it. Just basically pick the best players that are going to score you the highest points on a weekly basis. So let's go CeeDee Lamb here. I mean, CMC is super valuable, obviously, in this structure, but I have already 20%. So let's get a little more CeeDee Lamb, who should be moving ahead. Obviously, the ADPs take longer to shift as well because there's less drafting that happens in these tournaments. So that's another way that you can kind of get a bit of an edge on your draft pod or your draft room, is kind of using some of the ADPs from some of the other tournaments where we know guys are moving. And if we're ahead of that, then we can kind of, get our exposures at a bit of a discount while it kind of exists. So yeah, running backs get pushed up, quarterbacks get pushed up and are very important in this, but you do not need to correlate at all. You can, if it makes sense, as long as you think you're getting the highest point total week in, week out. But again, that's my biggest, that was kind of my biggest like aha moment, was like, it's exactly like a managed redraft draft, it's exact same strategy. Literally, if you have redraft rankings, you could literally plug them into this tournament structure and it would be the perfect way to draft, in my opinion. So that's the way I'm attacking these suckers. Mr. Mufasa, what's up, man? Appreciate you coming in here. Remember, guys, 0 RB is the best eliminator strategy. Yeah, no doubt. Trying to get an edge there. Bindles bring the maple. That's right. Emo Cowboy, what's happening, man? Appreciate you popping in. That's mean. Probably Hartman. Fast Football Garage, appreciate you coming in. Candyman, what's happening? I'm just going to start 6 wide receivers now. There you go. Yeah. So we'll see how this goes. I'm just really liking this tournament right now. And I think that's the strategy that can work. So yeah, Derrick Henry, Bowers, I don't mind that start at all. Genty, Achan makes tons of sense. This guy might have a tough time. UCF Jaguar and LOL Hot Dogs. It's hard to say what's going to come back to them at running back. But as long as the ADPs are staying kind of where they're at, this should be okay. I'm sure they'll be fine. They're both good drafters, so I'm sure they will be fine. Let's go with, I think Josh Jacobs is a really quality click here. Let's go Josh Jacobs. Let's go Josh Jacobs. I don't want to fall too far behind the 8 ball at running back. And I've been trying to get more in, regular classic best ball drafts. The offensive line is just very, 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 very good for the Packers now that they've invested a ton of draft capital and they brought in Aaron Banks from San Francisco. So they've just got a wrecking ball crew back there, a head coach that has shown that he wants to run the ball. So let's get more Jacobs in our lives, especially in this tournament. Where again, I know running backs get pushed up, and you definitely don't want to fall too far behind at all at running back. So if I'm these drafters, like if I'm champ and I'm the number one drafter here, I'm probably not taking another tight end till the very end of the draft, and it's gonna be somebody that has a weak matchup in week 8. That's gonna be my big concern there. Let's go Josh Allen. Obviously, he's just like QB1, I think. So you can see my exposure to them, 26% and 20% Lamar Jackson. I'm glad that that's what it is, because that's what I want my strategy to be. So I'm really happy that I have been already doing that, knowing that that's what I want to do. So now I need to look at week 7, see who has a weak matchup, which I just did, before we kind of, jumped in the room here. So Rams, Jags. So that could be a cheap piece. Matt Stafford could be a cheap quarterback that I could bring in to pair with Josh Allen and has a good matchup against the Jags. Mind you, it is extreme West Coast to extreme East Coast. No, they're in London actually at 7:30. They're in London. So that's even more of a concern. So I actually do not think I'll do that. Caleb against the Saints, that could make sense, but that's a little bit more of an expensive piece. So do I want to go down that road? Probably not. Jets, Panthers. I'd rather have Justin Fields in that matchup. And I don't know if I want to pay that price tag. I don't know what I'm going to do here. We'll see. There's a few like kind of late, not necessarily dart throws, but there's a few cheaper down the road quarterbacks that I could go with to pair up with Josh Allen. And we'll see how that goes. I'm here in Eliminator. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Putt Daddy, what's happening? Yeah, we're doing a 20-second Eliminator draft here. We'll see if we can get another one filled. If not, we'll just rip a poodle probably, because I need to get some drafts in. We'll rip another one after this, and then see what we do. Lamar QB1 and the GOAT. Yeah, I wouldn't argue anyone that said Lamar's QB1 this year over Josh Allen. I wouldn't argue that whatsoever. So, I just like Josh Allen a little bit more as far as just the week in, week out, higher floor and the same ceiling is kind of the way I look at those two. We've seen Lamar kind of have off games here and there. Not that we haven't necessarily from Josh Allen, but when he has his off games, he's usually just turning over the ball, but he still gets his points. Insane schedule analysis about the London game. That's the attention to detail you need, folks. That's right. That's right. So that's the kind of stuff you got to watch out for when you're doing eliminators like this. If they're playing in London, is it extreme West Coast? Like even if it was, let's say it was in North America and it was Seattle to Jacksonville, that is not a good direction to go. It's much, much easier for East Coast teams to travel west than it is for West Coast teams to travel east. Very, very, very much different. Very much easier. Let's go with Mixon, Kamara. Let's just bring in Kittle. Let's kind of lean in. Let's lean in. If we're gonna do it, let's lean in on it. So now it's by week 14 that I need to look at. I'm worried one day the Bills will wake up and realize they don't want to give Josh Allen 10 goal line rushes a game. Both awesome for sure. Yeah, they probably won't. They would probably rather not. But like the reality is with Josh Allen, like he's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to do what he has to do, I should say. He's going to do what he's got to do to win the game. So is Lamar. They both are similar in that fashion. It's like, I got to do what I got to do. I want to win this fucking football game. And if that takes me running, if that takes me, taking a hit, I got to do what I got to do. I got to help my team win. That's it. And that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah, that's kind of the way that they operate realistically. Let's go Kenny Walker. I also try to avoid too much bye week overlap, especially early, and especially if my early picks have early bye weeks. So again, Josh Jacobs has bye week 5. I should probably focus more on adding another high quality running back that has a later bye week, right? So if this team makes it to week 5, which is a pretty good chance just with having Josh Allen and George Kittle, right? That gives me a bit of an edge on a lot of the teams. Like, chances are I make it out of this pod already because I have such an advantage at those two positions right off the hop. And then 2 good running backs. Like, realistically, this team should advance out of the 6 of 12. I already have an amazing chance to get out. So if I can make it to week 5, I want another high quality running back to be in my lineup when Josh Jacobs is on his bye. Right. So that's another thing that I like to focus on. If I took even, Justin Jefferson, who has a bye week 6, it's a similar conversation. Instead here I have CeeDee Lamb. So I have until week 10 before my highest scoring player, non-quarterback, I should say, because Josh Allen's probably going to be my highest scoring player regardless. But my highest scoring non-quarterback on my team, I have 10 weeks before he goes on a bye. So that's kind of my thought process there when we're talking about, like, for your second pick, third pick, whatever down the line. I think you need to look ahead and say, okay, if I get to week 5, Josh Jacobs is not going to be in my lineup, obviously. So I need another piece that I feel really good about scoring points that week. Do I know who they play in week 5? No, I do not. But I liked Kenny Walker over a lot of the other options that were on the board right there. So now I'm going to have to focus on wide receiver a little bit, and then look at week 14 to see what tight end I could bring in. And again, I don't necessarily want to look for an expensive piece. That's for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think I have kind of a strategy already that I want to go with, but we'll get there when we get there. Elite onesies is a difference maker when playing one-on-one. Absolutely. So that was like to kick off the schedule, or to kick off the show. That was a big talking point was, get strong at the onesies. And then who do I go? I really, really, really like Rome Odunze here. Like, he's my number. He would be ranked the highest right now for me. So let's just lean in. I have 46% Jerry Jeudy. I think he's a huge discount in this part of the draft, but I do like Rome Odunze a ton as well. 0 Debo. This is just for the 15 eliminators I've done, by the way, this exposure. So it's not very deep quite yet. But I definitely need to go wide receiver there, get another piece. And then again, I have a bye week 5, but I've got CeeDee Lamb in there. So I really I don't need to, but I would prefer to stay away from some of the earlier bye weeks. Basically bye week 5, I would really prefer to stay away from that with some of my other pieces that I want to get in my lineup, which I might go against. We'll see, considering the strategy I have in my head already. I might be going against that, but we'll take it from there. We'll see how it goes. And then a guy like Jordan Addison, not necessarily, a high quality piece that you want to get your hands on with the early suspension most likely coming. Definitely not somebody that you want in this structure. It would have been Quinshon Judkins for sure. But since it's not, then I'm just going to go to my next higher ranked. I mean, Addison suspension, Shakir, just not a piece that I want in this structure. Like, it doesn't really matter. I don't have to correlate at all with Josh Allen, so he's really not that enticing for me. Obviously, I'm not going Laporta. Bye week 5 is a big concern for me. I'm not really much in on Brian Robinson this year. I'm not getting Pearsall with Kittle. That's just not going to happen. So realistically, my hands are tied. Take Pacheco, and I'll be okay. Travis Hunter in the 6th round where he belongs. You love to see it. Holy moly. I am not taking Travis Hunter that early. Who took him in this structure? UCF Jaguar. That's a ballsy pick there, man. That's a ballsy pick there for Travis Hunter in this structure. I wouldn't be drafting, realistically, I probably won't be drafting Travis Hunter at all in this structure, but doesn't make me right, doesn't make you wrong, that's for sure. Ben Haskell, how you doing, man? Appreciate you coming in. We got Al Boogie in here. Appreciate you. James Young, Eliminators. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chad Candles, GM, what's happening, man? Also in this, when Addison gets suspended, I think he could plummet like 120. So why take him now at his highest price? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, he will have value somewhere. There's somewhere on the board that he could go and I would pick him, but it's most certainly not. Is he still on the board? He is still on the board. It's most certainly not in the 7th round, 8th round, 9th round, 10th round, probably. Yeah, realistically, all these guys down here have more value than he does. So yeah, we're gonna be off the Addison click until either he gets suspended or it gets to a point that makes sense. But like I was saying again, like that's something we can use to our advantage, because there's going to be some ADP drafters that are just like, holy man, 20 picks of ADP, I'll take them. You know what I mean? So using there he goes. So some of the using the ADP shifts in other tournaments where there's more volume, because there's just not very much volume in the eliminators to make the ADPs shift very quickly, right? So we can use that to our advantage and gain an edge, and that's what we're doing. So I do need some help at wide receiver, but there's not necessarily anybody here that makes a ton of sense for me. I'm leery about bye week 5 for a couple of my positions. I don't want to go with another tight end this early, that's for sure. I don't really like these options. I guess I could go with Cup, but I don't really want him with Kenny Walker. We're going to bring in Najee, who just should have a ton of early season value by week 12, late in the season. And now I'm like in a really, really good position at running back. I'll probably only take one more, and it'll probably be some, by week 14 running back. Not a big deal, not a huge concern. But now I'm starting to fall behind at wide receiver a little bit. So I definitely need to not necessarily catch up, but get some quality pieces, at least guys that I deem to be relatively quality pieces, which is not Rashid Shaheed for me. Emeka Egbuka, I mean, I like him, but I'm not sure that click makes sense in this tournament structure. I think it's Jaden Higgins for sure over all of these guys. Maybe not quite Cup, but I don't want to take Cup with Kenny Walker particularly. I just don't. I wouldn't do that in a redraft league, so I'm not going to do it here. Let's take Jaden Higgins. Early bye week, but it still staggers with, Robodunze, and I still got CeeDee Lamb in my lineup. So we'll see where this lands, but I still think it's in a good position to at least get out of the first week and then just see where we go from there. Again, having the elite pieces, like somebody said earlier, who was it that I was talking about? We were talking about, doesn't really matter, but yeah. There we go. Mufasa. Yeah. The elite onesies is a difference maker when playing one-on-one. Absolutely. Right. 100%. That's why they go where they go in redraft leagues. That's why running backs get pushed up in redraft leagues, right? So again, I'll say it again. That's my strategy. Treat it as though it were a managed redraft league, and you should do relatively well, hopefully. And I'm going to be overweight Josh Allen, overweight Lamar Jackson. That's for sure. I don't think I have any Jaden Daniels yet, but no, nothing yet. How about Burrow? I think I've got him a couple times. Oh, 20% Burrow. Okay, like that. So it sounds like if I'm missing out on the tier 1 elite, no hurts either. So basically, if I'm not getting Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, I'm taking Joe Burrow, and I don't mind that strategy. Or probably taking like 3 Caleb I like a lot. I've got some Herbert, don't mind that. T-Law, Stroud, Penix, Stafford, Darnold. So it looks like I'm taking those guys in 3 quarterback builds. And, with some of these other clicks, it's probably they have good week 7 and week 10 by matchup. Sorry. So that would be my imagination of what I am doing and how it's working out for me. I could take Coleman if he's still there, but I don't know if I want to do that. I probably will. It makes sense if he's there. I think I'll have to do it. If not, then it's probably going to be another one of these running backs, I guess. And then obviously I'm done after that. I'd rather not, but it doesn't really make sense for me to take anything other than that. I guess I could pull up a wide receiver, but who do I pull up that, makes an exceptional amount of sense for me? There's really no one. So kind of backing myself into taking another running back here. And yeah, it'll just be Ramondre. I'll just take Ramondre and then I'm obviously done. So this will be a 2-5-9-2 build is what it's going to be. So I'm going to be able to throw some volume in my wide receiver room, which is good. So I'm definitely done at running back. That's no question. I'm only taking one more tight end. I'm only taking one more quarterback. So now it's just volume at wide receiver and higher floor if I can find it. And guys that kind of just make the most sense. Yeah. That's kind of where we're at. That's kind of what we're doing. Let's do Stroud. In week 7, the Texans play Monday night at Seattle. And I kind of like that matchup. I was thinking about doing Atlanta. In bye week 7, they play San Francisco, but it is on the road. On Sunday night, they play San Francisco on the road. And then I was thinking about, matching Penix up with Kyle Pitts, because in week 14, the Atlanta Falcons play, I think it's Seattle. Yeah, Seattle at home. So that was kind of what I was thinking there. But I don't mind Stroud either. Pair him up with Jaden Higgins. There's just not a lot of clicks right here. So it's kind of bring up somebody. And we're done at quarterback, obviously. So now let's go back to bye week 14 and just find a tight end. It could still be Pitts, but I don't think I'm going to do that. And again, another reason why is kind of, bye week 5, I kind of don't want to stagger my quarterback with a few of my high-end pieces, Rome and Jacobs, right? Like I don't want those guys out in the same week that my backup quarterback is playing. You know what I mean? So I don't think I want to go with a bye week 5 tight end either, just to avoid that situation coming up. So who is that? I mean, there's tons of options. Tons of options. I do want a somewhat relatively comfortable option though. I don't want to just completely punt my tight end too, because if Kittle has a massive week, and especially with my weak wide receiver room, so if Kittle has like a 26-point week and my other tight end has 12, then Kittle might be showing up in my flex. And like Hartman likes to say, you got to win the flex. You know what I'm saying? So he could show up in my flex. I only need 3 wide receivers and then, two running backs kick in there. So that's another reason why I don't want to just completely punt tight end. But if a wide receiver here makes more sense, then I'll take a wide receiver. Then that's easy peasy. And also the spike week guys, I'm not sure make a crazy amount of sense either. So a guy like Mims, that's kind of why he's falling. I also don't want to like pull up Adam Thielen. So let's go Mims, I guess. Let's just take Marvin Mims. And then it's probably Thielen here. I would have taken Warren if he was there. Nice schedule. Plays the Jags in week 14. So that would have been a nice option for me. And has a week 11 bye week. So let's just leave that there for now. It'll definitely be Adam Thielen, high floor kind of guy. I'll take Kyle Pitts, I guess. Though I'd really rather not. No, it would be Xavier Leggett if it's not Thielen. Let's do that. Is the most likely direction that we go there. Okay, take Thielen. I need that high floor type of play, especially early. You know, if he does get hurt in week 8 or something, I should be through it, at least through a couple bye weeks here. And it plays off the Mims. So we're in decent shape there. I obviously don't like this wide receiver room, but I still think I have a high likelihood of advancing at least out of week 1, where it's 6 to 12, and then I'm only playing one other team, and hopefully I can get through them. So, yeah, it's Nick's gimmick. Oh yeah, never mind. You're right. It is Nick's gimmick. You're right. My bad. Shout out Nick Bocklage. Marvin Mims Unleashed 2025. I hope so. Gumby apparently simmed the limit and found that 4 QB, 2 tight end builds are the most optimal. I guess. I'm not doing that, but okay. I don't know if I trust that. I don't trust that. Like, I guess it could be, but it's probably just like skewed because it's a higher like projected point total for having 4 quarterbacks. Like anytime you draft 3-4 quarterbacks, your projected point total goes way through the roof. So give me the, elite option with another like around 11 Stroud. I'll take that over 4 whatever guys. I mean, I don't know who those four quarterbacks are that would lead to it, but trying to fist sim an entire football season is a fruitless effort. I agree with that. Trying to predict anything is exceptionally difficult. So good luck with that with simming. I mean, it is interesting, I suppose, but like, yeah, this is it. Like, it's just going to show the highest projected total. That's probably why it has it advancing so much, or so far, or so long, or whatever you want to call it. But that's got to be why. So I would say that the sim is probably extremely flawed. Is kind of how I would look at it, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, which is always possible. Jags played the Colts. Yikes. I think it is Pitts then. Let's go with Kyle Pitts. I don't need him till week 14, realistically. He is a high ceiling play. And in week 14, the Falcons play Seattle. So I like that matchup for tight end. Done it tight end. Now we're just going to piss yellow for the rest of this draft. We're just pissing wide receivers. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We'll be taking a wide receiver with every pick for the rest of this draft. I'd like to somewhat watch my bye weeks for sure, especially the early ones. Late bye weeks, I can kind of do whatever I want to do. Jack Bash has fallen, as he should. especially in this structure. But it's getting to the point where he could be clickable. Don't need to worry about my bye week stuff anymore. Wandale is a good click. He went already. He's a quality click in this. I think I have some. No, I don't have any Wandale. I think he's a good click in this tournament, which is, I'll take Demario Douglas. I think he's got a reasonable week in, week out, like 8 points, 12 points. He can spike up to maybe like 16. Let's take Demario Douglas here. Late bye week as well. I'll probably watch week 14, but I could still probably take another when I have 9 wide receivers in my room. But we'll see where this lands. Britton Strange goes. But yeah, those high floor guys have a little bit more value in this structure as well. Like when it is like a managed redraft league, but you don't have to make the switch. You don't have to make the start or not, right? You could just, they obviously, plug and play as they score. It's best ball, right? Best players make your lineup. So you don't have to guess when is the right week to start them. And I think, like I said, Demario Douglas has a higher floor than a lot of these guys in this area. That's for sure. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Interesting room. A lot of 3 quarterback builds I'm seeing, which is fine. It's definitely not a bad strategy in this structure, depending on who you get. Like basically, 7th round, any of these guys, Baker, Mahomes, Kyler, Bo Nix, Justin Fields, like any of these kind of guys, you probably want 3 of them. Did this guy take a 3rd? I'm wondering if this guy, Peppertoni, I wonder if Peppertoni will take a 3rd with Kyler and Fields. Mind you, 2 rushing quarterbacks. They should have a higher floor and a very high ceiling. Drake May and Goff. I would probably take a 3rd, most likely. Steve goes Daniel Jones, Penix, and Mahomes. I like that room. I think that makes a lot of sense. I definitely will not be taking a 3rd, obviously. Aaron Rodgers, JJ McCarthy, and Brock Purdy makes a lot of sense. I don't mind that. I guess we take Slayton, as I don't have a giant piece yet. So let's bring in Darius Slayton. I don't mind that. Who took Keenan Allen? UCF Jaguar. Nice click. He was a guy who's hoping but not expecting to fall back to me. He's definitely, I've got like 26% Keenan Allen. I think he's a great click in this tournament, in this structure. And I'm sure many people agree with that. So yeah, I don't like to do a lot of team stacking. I don't like to do a lot of team stacking, which I don't do a ton in my managed redraft leagues either. So again, similar strategy, unless it's like a team that I think just goes absolutely berserk, then yeah, I guess you could, but you're kind of playing the ping pong thing that you don't want to do in a head-to-head sort of a situation. You kind of want the high floor, high ceiling. You just want to bank on it, kind of set it and forget it type of guys. At least that's how I look at it. So definitely won't be another bye week 14 wide receiver. That's for sure. So let's go Yoshi. One touchdown every 5 catches in his career. So that can show up in my lineup a fair amount. Let's bring him in. Definitely not the strongest wide receiver room. That's obvious. But my tight end room is quality. My running back room is very good. And my quarterback room's in a very good spot. So again, I should be okay for getting out of week 1, and then we'll just take it from there. I'll have an advantage over every opponent I play with my running back room, my quarterback room, and my tight end room, most likely. And then I just need some good stuff to happen. A lot of ping ponging weeks. Obviously, I'm throwing some volume at this wide receiver room. You could make an argument I should have just stopped at 4 running backs too. You could definitely make that argument and then just take another wide receiver. You could definitely make that argument because this is a pretty strong running back room. Should be some pretty high floors. And then a couple ceiling plays with Jacobs and hopefully Walker. But I wanted to get an extra kind of floor play in there, especially early in the season, again, covering off Josh Jacobs. But this is a really weak wide receiver room. I don't despise it, but it's pretty weak. This draft isn't going exactly as I hoped. Feel good about week 1. Yeah, it's not exactly going how I hoped either, but same thing. I feel good about week 1. And as long as you get out of week 1, then you only have to worry about one other team. It's still a 50% advance rate, regardless of what week we're in, starting week 1. But just get out of week 1 and then have advantages over the majority of other teams that you might face. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Is like those quarterbacks, these tight ends, that sort of thing, these types of running back constructions, like they will give me an advantage over most other teams. So give me these spike weeky type of wide receivers, and I'll just take a ton of shots and see if it works out. Not sure after. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Steve. Was planning to go 3 QB, but they all got snapped off, so not forcing it. Good strategy, just leave it then. Stick to your guns, stick to your 2 guys. I wouldn't force it either, just to have those 3. I wouldn't force it either. Forcing one elite onesies is a tightrope walk. You're not wrong there either, but it's one that it's a bet that I'm willing to take personally. I was driving so that I have an excuse when I'm eliminated. Yeah, fair enough. I probably shouldn't be drafting while driving, Hartman, but it's all right. I won't tell. But we're going to obviously finish this up with one more wide receiver. And again, it's going to be like a spike weeky type of a guy. I can really take any bye week. It doesn't really matter. The bye week I select here. Tyler Lockett's a good click in this structure. By week 10, I've got a little bit of him. That's not what I was doing. I was going to go Elijah Moore regardless, as long as he was there, and he's there for me. So I'll take Elijah Moore, pair him up with Josh Allen. I got one little cheap piece of the Buffalo offense to go with Josh Allen. And if some way, somehow Elijah Moore is the most valuable wide receiver in that offense, which isn't outside the range of outcomes, then I'm in really good shape. So I like the team. I don't necessarily love it. I think I can get out of week 1, and then we're going to kind of see what happens after that. We finished with Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker the third, Isaiah Pacheco, Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, CeeDee Lamb, Roma Dunze, Jaden Higgins, Marvin Mims, Adam Thielen, Pop Douglas, Darius Slayton, Andre Yoshivas, Elijah Moore, Kittle, and Pitts. I like this team. I think again, I have advantages over most random teams. And I think I can get out of week 1. So let's kind of take it from there. That's just where I'm at with it. What do you think of slightly fading Cincy because they always seem to start slow? I mean, I wouldn't be as worried about it this year. If they do start slow, they don't have any excuses. There's been Burrow injuries. There's been contract issues. There's been all kinds of distractions. There's still contract issues, but the rest of the offense is completely intact and everybody's there. Everybody's at OTAs. We're at training camp. Everybody's happy. Everybody got paid. Everybody's healthy. So if they do start slow, Zach Taylor is going to be potentially on the chopping block for not having his team ready for the millionth year in a row. There's no excuses for Cincinnati to start slow. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that this year. And if they do, then Zach Taylor's definitely going to have his head on the chopping block more than he does already. Inspired by Swolecast, sorry. Blame David Kitchens. He casually said that he's still doing it in one of the late round slow shows. I don't know what we're talking about here. Traffic draft strategy. Stephen Hines think he crapped the bed. Tiger never changes his stripes. We're not going to go through every team because there's a lot of teams in this draft with us, but hopefully we all get through. The 6 of us advance. And then we're going to rip one more. Let's do a poodle. Let's do a poodle. Unless you guys want to do an eliminator. If you want to do another eliminator, we can do that. Let me know in the chat. Let's get like the first however many votes. As soon as there's a majority, if you want to do an eliminator or a poodle, those are the kind of 2 options. I do want to get some poodles in because there's 20 max and I want to get it filled, but I definitely want to draft the eliminator as well. So let me know in the chat. What do you want to do? We'll do whatever you want to draft, eliminator or poodle. Let me know. Not getting any votes. Take your time, guys. What do you want to do? I'll always vote in limbs. So we got 1 for eliminator. It's easy to get derailed in eliminators. It's a totally different thought process. Definitely. Pepper Tony's down to poodle. We got 1 more for a poodle. We'll do a poodle. Big dog. I ain't doing a big dog. We got another poodle. There we go. I'm not drafting the big dog at all, Hartman. But even though I just took full advantage of the deposit bonus today, you betcha. Let's do, it's only 20 and 8. Okay, let's do 20-second poodle. Let's jump in. My favorite tournament, the poodle. My favorite tournament to draft. I'm not going to worry about exposures because this is my first one. So I know the guys that I like. The exposures don't matter. This is my eliminator exposure, which is pretty useless, means nothing. But 20-second poodle, we're ripping. Didn't get the deposit bonus. No. Take another look. Just on the main screen. 25% deposit bonus. Take full advantage. Well, I do. I did. We've got Bash Barty is a very good drafter. Don't know who it is, but he's a very good drafter. Drafted him a lot. We got UCF Jaguar in the 4 spot and Peppertoni in the 1. Draws the old influencer stream 101. There we go. So I'm not going to worry too much about my exposures, obviously. 20 max. I'm just going to draft a my team kind of squad, if you will. Does that mean I take Bijan this time? I think I do. I'll take Bijan at the 2 spot. Just because of the ADP difference between Bijan and CD, I can always get my CD Lamb shares. It's a little harder, I suppose, to get Bijan shares. So let's go with Bijan Robinson first. Different strategy. We're back to the regular draft strategy, back to regular programming. Regular draft strategy. You do definitely want to correlate and get playoff matchups and the like. So there you go. Reverse punish. There you go. You go from 12 to 1. Steve missed it. All good. Appreciate you popping in. Appreciate you drafting with us. I must be too sharp. They don't want to give me money. Fair. That's got to be it. And just give the fish the deposit bonus. That's got to be what it is. And that's obviously me. just a fish. Just an absolute fucking goldfish over here. I haven't asked anyone yet to hit the like button if you're popping in. Hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Mind you, we have subscriber only mode on. I might start doing that just because I'm not sure how many people that watch and comment and all that are actually subscribed to the channel. So I might start doing subscriber only chat just to get force people to hit that button if they want to talk and have some fun. So appreciate all you guys that are commenting right now. It means you're subscribed. I appreciate each and every one of you. Especially Fantasy Dog coming in at like number 24. Cody is good at this, y'all. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate that. I got a new sub. There we go. It's Hersey. New sub. Good evening. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hitting that button. Thanks for coming in. Hope you appreciate the content. Hell yeah. Absolutely hit the like button. Build up this channel. Appreciate you, Steve. Appreciate you guys. It's definitely growing. We're on the road to 600. We're almost there. And then off to 1,000. We'll be drafting all summer. Episode 20, I think, or right now, or 19 right now for the summer. After however many we did, 30 or so in a 12-hour live stream in big board season. So, yeah, we'll be drafting all summer. 2 more months we got. We got 2 more months to draft in Hot Best Ball summer. Seems long, but it's not that long ago. We had 6 months. You know what I mean? Back in the old big board days, and there hasn't been any injuries lately or yet. I mean, knock on wood. But obviously, nobody's practicing right now. Practice OTAs are done, mini camps done, all that. It's nothing till training camp, and then I'm sure we're going to get some injuries. So I shouldn't be, jinxing anyone. But hopefully everybody stays relatively healthy, and we have so far so good. So far so good. But appreciate you guys popping in and drafting with me. So, like I said, back to our regular scheduled programming as far as our draft strategy. So Bowers isn't necessarily a click I like to make. Maybe at 20, it's okay, but I don't love making that selection. We got a little news on Marvin anticipating year 2 leap. You better hope so. Not breaking too much for news there. We've got Bijan. Let's take T. Higgins. Sorry, Pepper Tony, but I need it. I need a wide receiver here. Let's get some T. Higgs in our life. And why do I need that? Because it sets up a couple things. It sets up a couple things that might make some sense for me, depending on what Pepper Tony does here. Too long to read. I'm assuming, yeah, he's anticipating a year 2 leap. So Marvin Harrison pairs with Bijan in week 16 and then T. Higgins in week 17. So let's bring in Marvin Harrison. Though I just don't think he's the correct click. So let's take Tyreek is the correct click in the 3rd round every time. I told you guys last episode I did, and I'm going to stick to my guns because I hope that's why you come in and draft with me. Stick to my guns. If Tyreek Hill's available in the 3rd round, I'm taking him every single time. He does pair up with T. Higgins in week 16 anyways, so that feels good. But Tyreek Hill should not be a 3rd round pick in my opinion. If he's there in the 3rd round, I'm going to take him every single time. Stick to your guns, Cody. And there you go. Just did. He's just like such an absolute, complete difference maker and could win leagues as a 3rd round pick. Maybe he's what everybody's thinking is, and that's why he's fallen to the 3rd round. But I'm willing to take the gamble that Tyreek Hill goes back to being Tyreek Hill. And that defense is a gigantic piece of shit. So realistically, I mean, I said this in the big board. I said this probably 3-4 months ago. Someone asked, and I was talking about it as well, like a team that could be this year's kind of Cincinnati Bengals. It's the Miami Dolphins. They have a completely dog shit defense and theoretically a fantastic top 5, top 3 offense. As long as they revert back to a couple years ago, as long as Tua Tagovailoa stays healthy. That's the big kicker realistically. So obviously I'm gambling that Tua stays healthy. Tyreek is still Tyreek. He's recovered from the wrist injury. And their offensive line is good enough. And I think their offensive line is good enough. I think that they have the pieces. As long as Patrick Paul is the guy at left tackle, then they have the firepower. Obviously, James Daniels coming back from an injury. I think it was an Achilles, which sucks, and it's very scary. But he should be okay. Theoretically, he should be okay. And they have a lot of depth. They brought in Larry Borum. They still have Liam Eichenberg. They have a fair amount of depth on the offensive line. They drafted a 2nd-round offensive lineman, right guard, right? So as long as Patrick Paul's the guy at left tackle, the guy that I think he can be, let's do it. Let's buy in. So let's get back to our take. Let's stand firm. Let's stand on business. If Tyreek's available in the 3rd, I'm taking him every time. I do not care. Same thing as the Derrick Henry take last year. Same thing. Go watch an episode from last year's Hot Best Ball Summer. I was saying the same thing. Derrick Henry's available in the third. I'm taking him every single time. And I'm there with Tyreek Hill. I'm just doing it. I'm doing it. Just wondering, no particular reason. I don't know where you were. I did not know you were a Kyron Bull. You can have all my shares taking Breeze. I'm not a Kyron Bull. Where'd you get that? I'm not a Kyron Williams Bull at all, personally. Appreciate you, Fantasy Dog. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm not a Kyron Williams Bull at all. I'm not sure where you're getting that from. Did I talk about him? I don't think I did. I was talking about Tyreek Hill for the last 5 minutes, but did I say Kyron? If I said Kyron, I meant Tyreek. Jeez, my bad. If I said Kyron, I did not mean Kyron Williams. I meant Tyreek and Tyreek Hill. If Tyreek Hill is available in the third round, I'm taking him every single time. Kyron can lick a dirty boot, man. I'm not really in on Kyron too much at all. So my apologies if I said Kyron for God knows why. We're taking James Cook. I'm going to try to gobble up as many shares as I can, especially as he falls. With him reporting and practicing, then yeah, that's a very good sign, obviously. So when he falls, I'll take him. Let's get some James Cook. I think it's a massive tier break too. Down to Chuba, down to Mixon. Kenny Walker, I'd put above Mixon, maybe Chuba even as well. But I just think James Cook is a huge tier break right there from the rest of these running backs. At least that's how I feel about it personally. Couple wide receivers here. I'll take whichever one is left. And that's nice. I wanted DK. Pairs up with Tyreek in week 15, which is nice. Good schedule. The rest of that. Cleveland piece right here with James Cook. Cleveland with Metcalf would be good. Sets up a late Rodgers, which is viable. I think that DK has a ton of value. We've got the wide receiver one in. I know it's an Arthur Smith offense. I get it, but he's most certainly the wide receiver one, and the wide receiver one with Aaron Rodgers tends to do pretty good. So give me DK over Zay, over George Pickens, over Cortland Sutton, over Devonta Smith, potentially over Worthy. I think DK should be low 40s, high 30s as far as ADP is concerned. I just think there's tons of value on DK personally. So I'm going to keep gobbling up the shares if I can. I must have said Kyron. Jeez, no, Tyreek. I'm with you on Tyreek. I take him every time in the third for the most part. There you go. Yeah, Tyreek Hill. Like I said, same thing I was saying about Derrick Henry last year. If he was available in the third, I'm taking him. Same thing with Tyreek. If he's available in the third, I'm taking him. And that's that. That's the bottom line. Because OTS said so. Like the build. I like the build. We're in good shape. Peppertoni, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to be taking Joe Burrow if he's there at pick 71. Very, 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 very likely I'm going to take Joe Burrow to pair him up with T. Higgins. I apologize in advance, but at least I'm letting you know if he's there, I'm going to take him. I do like Zay. This is going to surprise the haters this year. I tell you what, I like Zay as well. I do like him. I think he's undervalued. I think, give me Zay over Cortland. Give me Zay over Devonta Smith, probably. Yeah. I mean, I think like Pickens and Zay over Cortland and Devonta probably is the way I would go about it. So I think there's value in those two as well. If you took DK, I would have taken Pickens. So there you go. There you go. Oh, I thought we were going to hit the over-under of 2 sneezes already. Over-under's at 1.5 on every stream of sneezes for me. And that's all I have to say about that. That's right. Forrest Gump style. Think I misheard Tyreek as Kyron somehow. Okay, fair enough. Sometimes I do that though. Like I do that all the time where I say the wrong guy's name. I do that all the time. So it very well could have been me. Very well could have been me. These two guys, well, there goes Judy. So this guy could just scoop Joe Burrow on me for no reason. You never know. But I will take Joe Burrow. I'm sorry, Pepper Tony. I have to do it. I have to do it. But you can still take Kyron. I have to get Joe Burrow here. I don't have to, but I really, really would like Joe Burrow here. Probably going to look at a Baltimore piece at some point as well. I've got a lot of options here. I like my wide receiver room a lot. Like having Tyreek really opens things up, I feel like, as well. So I could go running back here. I don't love these wide receivers. I really don't love them enough. So let's take Quinshawn. Gives me outs to stop at 5. I have outs to stop at 2 quarterbacks and stop at 5 running backs. So it's giving me some flexibility here. If maybe even if Godwin was there, I probably would have gone down that road with Godwin. That was a nice fall, I think, actually. Yeah. 8 picks. Okay. So I definitely would have went there with Godwin. But the rest of them, yeah, I mean, you could take one of these Green Bay guys and then just get your shares of both and hope that you're right, for the most part. But yeah. Now I've just got options. I've got options. That's for sure. Once you took T, I knew I wouldn't be having Burrow on this team. Sorry, man. Gotta do it. You see the jerseys. You see, you know I'm a Bengals guy. Probably should not have taken Chase knowing that, but meh. Yeah, Chase Brown. You mean, obviously, probably not Jamar Chase. I'd imagine you mean Chase Brown. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you should probably be able to get Kyler. We got Kyron Williams on the mind here. You should be able to get Kyler. Jeez, I won't be taking Kyler Murray. That's for sure. So there you go. I most certainly will not. I'll tell you that as well. I most certainly will not be picking Kyler Murray. That you can take to the bank. But where is the Marvin Harrison drafter? Right here. He's got CD. He's got Bowers. So he could be going down that road. Didn't take Patrick Mahomes. Mind you, he probably shouldn't go that early for my liking, personally. But that's okay. Probably won't go the Cleveland route. So does Nick Saucer take Kyler? Geez, we need to get off this Kyron thing. Or do you get him at 96? Time's going to tell on that one. Time will tell on that one. What are we doing? We got to catch up at wide receiver a little bit. One of these 2 picks will most certainly be wide receiver, if not both. My running back room's in a really good spot. My quarterback room's in a really good spot. So I definitely need to focus on wide receivers. But who's going to be available for me? That's kind of what it boils down to, is who's going to be there. I would take Kupp in this instance. And there goes Kyler. Jeez. Rude. Igbuka goes. I would have taken Igbuka for sure. There goes Kupp. That's unfortunate. So it's either Jordan Mason or Higgins. I have to take Higgins. Let's do that. Have to take Higgins. I need some wide receiver help. Baker's there for you, Peppertoni. If you want to go down that road, it's a nice little fall for Baker. Sometimes I like to do that. I would have taken Igbuka on the off chance that Peppertoni doesn't take Baker and then hope he gets back to me. But that's fine. Igbuka goes. I'll take Higgins, who actually should be more valuable in this in any structure realistically than Igbuka. I mean, I like Igbuka more. I like the talent more. Don't get me wrong, but Higgins has a better situation, better opportunity. So Mason goes. That's kind of unfortunate. Let's just bring up Trey Harris. I don't do a lot of this. You get the pairing Higgins Harris. Let's do it. I take a lot of Justin Fields. I need to get more Trey Harris. Really is kind of a big part of what it boils down to. Gets my wide receiver room in a much better spot as well. So now I have tons of flexibility with this squad. Tons of flexibility. And there goes Fields. That was another guy that was on my radar, on my list. UCF Jaguars in a good spot with his pairing, Devonta and Hurts, Garrett Wilson, and Fields. A couple rushing quarterbacks with a piece that is pretty valuable in that offense. So I like that. Done at 2 quarterbacks, I would imagine. I would hope. If you have 2 quarterbacks before round 10, then you're probably done at 2. Probably. Yeah, you got me all messed up, man, with this Kyler names. All messed up. But we'll get through it. We'll make it. So we're live tonight. We won't be live tomorrow. I'm hitting the golf course. Very excited. Haven't golfed enough. I'm stoked to golf tomorrow. Hopefully, I better break 90 or I'm going to be pretty unhappy with myself. I better shoot 89 or better. I better do that or I'll be really not happy. And then probably Wednesday night, we'll get probably some poodles in, I would imagine. That's probably what we'll be doing. Maybe a pit bull. I don't know. We'll see. Poodles or pit bulls on Wednesday night, but we got to get some volume in. By we, I mean me. Got to get some volume in because these tournaments are going to fill pretty quick. And it's like 31 teams I got to draft before they fill. So kind of got to get my act together and get some volume in. But that should be easy to attain. Break 90 or break the clubs. I mean, I'll never break my clubs. They're just way too expensive and valuable to me. But I'll be upset. I'll say that. I'll be upset. I'll stamp my feet if I don't break 90. But yeah, my clubs, I mind you, it didn't come out of my pocket. It was all like health spending account stuff that I bought my clubs with. But my clubs total are probably worth like out of like someone's pocket. Again, not mine. I'd probably spent like of my own money, probably spent like $500 of my own money, but they're probably worth like three grand probably roughly on my clubs. So I'm not breaking my clubs. That's for sure. Actually, probably more than 3. Probably like 35, I would say. Roughly 35 to 4, something like that. Is probably what they were, somewhere around there. I don't know for sure, but somewhere around there. Worth every penny though. I think. I hope. Let's do Charbonnet. Yeah, I was able to catch up a little bit at wide receiver there. So let's go Charbonnet. I like the not only like the texture, but the bye weeks are nice. Everything looks good in this this running back room. Definitely done at 5 running backs. That's no questions asked. So that feels good. I'll take one more kind of late flyer and then be done there. Peppertoni gets his Miami bring back, which feels nice. Probably done at 2 tight ends as well, which works for me because I want to take Tyler Warren here. Bring him in, my first tight end. Feels good. Good looking squad. I like the texture of the squad. I like the way it's working out. Makes sense. Yeah, I was kind of doing this before you gave me that tip. I was kind of doing that. I'm also like cocking the putter a little bit. You see a lot of pros do it, and I figured like I don't think I was getting the club. It sounds weird, but makes sense. I wasn't getting the club face on the ball with my putter. I didn't feel like. So I'm kind of weight forward, and then like before I putt, I kind of cock the putter forward a little bit, and then just it allows me to get the face on the ball. So my putting has been a lot better. It was funny that you'd sent that tip. It's kind of what I've been doing. I didn't even like read anything or hear anything. It felt more comfortable, and it kind of worked out. So definitely I have been doing that. And it's definitely working. Damn, OTS spending my yearly salary on some golf clubs with a baller. Again, it wasn't my money. It was out of a health spending account. So it was free money that came from the company I work for. It wasn't my money. I'm not spending $3,000 or $4,000 of my own money. That's for damn sure. Again, I spent probably like $500 of my own money on my clubs. So I'd spend up to $2,000 probably on a set of clubs for sure, of my own money if I had to. But if it's someone else's money and I'm getting them for free, well, not for free, well, sort of for free, whatever. I'll spend as much as I kind of can, which I did. So it works on putter to 6-iron. Fair enough. Can you break 90 Hartman? My best round ever was a 77. Felt really good about that. That was best round I ever shot. Obviously, that's a pretty good score. I'm hoping to do better than that. I'm hoping to obviously I want to get my handicap to single digits, and I would like to shoot a par round. Those are my kind of goals right now, I suppose. There's a non-zero chance Tyler Warren scores 30 total offensive touchdowns. I mean, 30 is aggressive. That's certainly aggressive. There's definitely going to be some rushing touchdowns in there, probably. Obviously the receiving touchdowns, he could throw 1 or 2 as well. I don't know about 30, but big step up. I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat. Appreciate you coming in, and hitting that subscribe button as well. But, that's a lofty, 20, I could get behind 20. That's more reasonable. 30 would be insane. That would be like the greatest rookie season ever. Ever in the history of everness. Nobody would be able to touch that record as far as a rookie season if he got up to 30. That's for sure. Putting tip means something different where I come from. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the tip. There's a non-zero chance the Colts as a whole don't score 30 touchdowns. Yeah, that might be the more likely scenario. But 20 could be doable. That could definitely be doable for Warren. Not exceptionally likely, obviously, but could be something that is possible. What do I want to do here? Not much for correlation. Kind of left in the tank. Let's bring in Trey Benson. I would have rather avoided the bye week 8 sort of thing, but I do want a piece for the Cincinnati bringback. There's really nothing else to click here. So we're done at running back for sure. I guess it's a good spot to bring in another tight end. Not a crazy amount of correlation left on the board. Let's do Xavier Leggett. Here. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll see where it goes from there. Let's get another wide receiver in the room. I shot 77 and 78, not same tourney in Dayton City tournaments leaderboard. Just saying, damn, get it, man. Get after it. Those are great scores. Great scores. If you're breaking 80 ever, even low 80s is phenomenal. Phenomenal golf. If you're a bogey golfer, you're better than like 98% of golfers out there in the world. If you're a bogey golfer, so you're breaking 90 sometimes, right? You shoot between like an 86 and a 94. If you're that style of golfer, that's basically what I am right now, more or less. My handicap is lower than 18, but if you're those are your consistent scores realistically, you're better than like 98% of golfers in the world. So if you're shooting under 80 most days, damn. Took me forever to break 80. Yeah, it took me a while to break 82, and I've only done it once. I've gotten close another time. I've gotten close to hitting 79 another round. Didn't quite get there. But if I don't break 80 most rounds, if I don't break 90, most rounds, I get pretty annoyed with myself. I think I'm a good enough golfer to break 90 pretty much always. So that's kind of the standard I hold myself to as a golfer. I think I should shoot 89 or better basically every round. So, but the course I play at the most often and the one I'm playing tomorrow is quite difficult. It's a quite difficult course. It's not exceptionally long. It's only like 64 and change. It's not exceptionally long, but it's just very, very technical and you cannot miss. So it's a strong test. I'm a tournament player for sure. I've never played a tournament. I've never played a golf tournament. I don't know if I'm good enough. As in, I'm pretty sure my handicap isn't even low enough. You do have to have like a certain handicap to be able to get into some of those. I'm not sure if it is or not, but I wouldn't embarrass myself with a tournament showing. A buddy of mine played in the Alberta Amateur a couple years ago and didn't quite get there. You do have to qualify for it. So you have to play around, qualify for it, and then you get in. And then it's a 2-day tournament from there. I caddied for him. It was really fun, but that's about as far as we went so far. Bring out the 3-iron. I don't have a 3-iron. I have a 4 hybrid that I use in the same circumstance. So love that club. Love that club. It's one of 2 clubs that I kept from my old bag when I got my new clubs, these expensive clubs. I kept 2 clubs. One was an approach wedge, a gap wedge, and my 4 hybrid. I love that club. I'll never get rid of that club ever. Just 210 every time, no problem. Super happy. Juice it up to 220, pull it back to 200, hit it into the wind, whatever. Love that club. Love that club. But we're talking football. We're not talking golf. You can talk golf all day if you let me. We've got some options. I'm not worried about that. And we might just lean in on that, I suppose. I wanted to get Brenton Strange down here. But let's do Freiermuth. I think he's just way too valuable right here. Way too valuable with where he's going. And that would have sucked for Peppertoni if Brenton Strange were on the board and I sniped him on Brenton Strange with his Trevor Lawrence there. He would have been really unhappy with me. Oh, no, he's probably only staying at 2 tight ends anyways. So that's fine. Let's just take Aaron Rodgers here. Let's just take him. I'm not going to try to push him around. It's probably not going to happen. I've got 2 Pittsburgh pieces. It just makes the most sense. I got to do it. He's going to rise up to around here anyways. I can still stop at 2 with Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow. I'm okay with that personally. So we're basically wide receiver and 1 tight end away from wrapping this sucker up. So yeah, we're in a good spot. I played with a guy in a tournament who played in the Open. Wow. Roderick from Scotland beat him by 1 stroke. Dang. He must have fallen off. No offense to you. No offense to you, but he must have fallen off since the Open. But yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. That's really cool. I haven't played with, I mean, the best golfer I ever played with is my buddy, one of my best friends, one of my best men at my wedding. He's a scratch golfer, played golf at an American university. He's basically a scratch golfer. Dude pounds the ball, pounds the ball. Yeah, and he's the best golfer I've ever played with personally. But he's it's ridiculous playing with him. It's like we're literally playing a different game, him and I. And I'm reasonable golfer, pretty reasonable, very reasonable golfer. And it's just like a completely different game that he's playing that I'm playing. You know what I mean? When you play with that caliber of golfer, it's just like, geez, we're not even playing the same game here. Like, we're really not. Is the Jack Besh fall from running with the twos in minicamp an overreaction when they haven't gotten pads on yet? The problem with Jack Besh, realistically, with them drafting him, it just wasn't a good selection for them, because where does he fit? Like, where he's going to make his money, where he's going to make his hay, where he's going to fit most, where he's going to fit in an NFL offense is typically in the slot, big slot, kind of like a small tight end, big slot. That's Bowers, that's Jacoby Myers. So that's my concern, and that's a lot of other people's concern with Jack Besh. I love Jack Besh, don't get me wrong. He was one of my highest exposures in the big board. I was a big fan. I thought he was way undervalued. I thought he was going to be a second-round pick, maybe a third-round pick, kind of at the latest, and that came to fruition. But the landing spot wasn't great for him and his skill set. So that's the big concern. If he's not running in the outside, like if that's Thornton and that's Tucker and they have Myers and they have Bowers, where does Jack Besh really fit? Realistically, it seems like he's got to wait until Myers is out of town potentially. So, like, obviously in a dynasty setting, Jack Besh is a great pick, but in best ball right now, we've got to see his ADP slide even more. Like, where should it go? Definitely after Cedric Tillman, that's no question. And he was drafted ahead of him in this draft. So after Tillman, probably after Thielen, probably after Dobbs, I guess right around this range. Whoops. The high 160s, I guess. Like, it's probably Pierce ahead of him. Michael Wilson's probably ahead of him. Nice. We got Mike Gesicki to fall to us. What a win. What an absolute W. You betcha. There's a lot of clicks down here that could just be a better click than Jack Besh. Like, realistically, Darius Slayton could have a better season than Jack Besh, and I don't think anyone would be extremely surprised. That's the big problem that I have with it, and I think most other people do as well. It's just like, where does he fit in this offense? That has to be the big concern. Where does he fit? Does he get on the field is another obvious massive concern. Is like, is he even going to be out there running routes? And the most likely answer is probably not, unfortunately. And I love me some Jack Besh. Let's take Darius Slayton. Might as well. He's there. Makes sense. It's a good click. We're done at tight end. We're done everywhere else. But that's my take on Jack Besh, and I think a lot of people share that sentiment, and that's why he's running with the twos too. Because where does he fit? He's not getting on the field ahead of Jacoby Myers. He's not getting on the field ahead of Brock Bowers, and he just doesn't really fit as an outside receiver. So if he's not going to get on the field, if he's running with the twos, it's going to take an injury, or he's going to have to sit and wait his turn. So I only grabbed T-Law so I can get 3 QBs. Leg Up has been saying lately that it's really not the end of the world to have unstacked QB. I don't think it is either. Like, I really don't either. As long as you have some sort of correlation, which you do with Baker. Like, you have some correlation with Baker. You have a little bit with Tua as well. So as long as you have some correlation, that third QB is typically just like an advance rate piece and to like get you through. Realistically, I don't think it's a terrible strategy either, as long as it's not like, a high value pick, right? Like, I don't know, like the unstacked Joe Burrow conversation, right? Like that's where it can make not a crazy amount of sense if you literally took him naked. I mean, it could though. I don't know. That's a tough conversation. I guess it's like Patrick Mahomes is a better example. Let's say unstack Patrick Mahomes. It's like, why would you do that? Why would that make any sense in the world? I don't think it would. So like being where he goes, unstacked T-Law in the 11th round, sure. Unstacked, even Aaron Rodgers, unstacked Sam Darnold, sure. Unstacked Geno even, why not? Penix, yeah. Unstacked Bryce, sure. Like as long as you have some other correlation, I still think you need some sort of correlation, which again, you do. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that take for sure. Pete Overzet gave Besh the kiss of death, and he's been falling since. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if his take was the same, but that's my take on it. So my roster limits just screwed up my auto draft from the queue. Womp womp. That'll happen with Diami Brown or Justice Hill. Probably Justice Hill, I'd imagine. I think the fall is a bit unwarranted, but we'll happily take a discount on Jack Besh. Steve, I think you're talking. I don't know. I'm pretty concerned. I'm definitely not taking Dante Thornton in the 12th round like this drafter did right here, or Aronde Gadsden in the 16th over here, or Mitchell or Calvin Austin early where he did. Like this drafter's a little interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I guess he took him with Thornton and Geno. Okay, sure. Got some good value on Josh Downs. That feels nice. But yeah, I don't know. I'm concerned about Jack Besh. I like Jack Besh more than the majority of people out there. I had him as like I don't remember my ranking. I might have had Jack Besh as like number 2 or 3 wide receiver in this draft class, not including Travis Hunter. But yeah, I had him 2 or 3 in this draft class, Jack Besh. But the landing spot just is not great. It's really not great. Like I don't think anybody can really sell it like it was a great landing spot. I think that's a tough case to make that Jack Besh had a really good landing spot. You're 100% right. Recipe my big board bags, but I did have 13% Thornton too. Nice. I mean, I have more probably than you on Jack Besh, Mr. Mufasa. Like I have a lot of Jack Besh. Let's take Elijah Mitchell. Let's do it. Or Elijah Moore. Sorry. Let's take Elijah Moore here. It's him or like Tesla, but give me the vet. Give me the vet. Let's take more. So I probably have more Jack Besh than maybe anybody in the big board. Let's take a look. We're here. 257 big board season drafts, and I have 23% Jack Besh, $720 worth of Jack Besh. It's probably right here. Yeah, there he is. A lot of Najee. Wow. Okay. A lot of Trey Harris. RIP Damian Martinez. That's cool. Obviously, Kyle Williams. Parker Washington, I'm leaving the light on for, but I don't know if I needed 28% of him. Didn't plan on Travis Hunter being on that team when I had that exposure. Didn't notice around 12 Thornton, me neither, until I kind of looked for it. But in my opinion, Besh is only out of is being so impactful in the slot practice that they push Myers outside, not his strongest position. Bench Tucker, and that's only 3 wide receiver sets. Yeah, I agree with this. Like, I have a hard time seeing a route for Jack Besh getting on the field consistently. I really do. And again, I don't think I'm alone on that. Obviously, Mr. Mufasa here agrees with me as well. I'm not sure what Pete's take on it was, but I have heard other people say the same thing. And I agree. That's my take as well. I just don't particularly see it. I think that's where he fits in an NFL offense, is as a big slot in the slot. If he can't get in on the field in that position, then he's going to be, running with the twos or a backup or whatever. Because I really don't think he just doesn't have like the speed realistically. Sure, he has the size, but he doesn't have the separation ability on the outside. I think he has to be kind of a bigger slot type of a wide receiver in the NFL. But we'll see. I think it's a bit early to assume that Thornton locks down a starting role. I know he ran some with the ones in minicamp, but we heard similar reports with Javon Baker last year. Yeah, there's reports always, and maybe they're just getting some run. Like I'm not banking, or I'm not like, because I'm not drafting Dante Thornton either. I'm really not. Like I maybe will take a last 18th round flyer on him here and there, but I don't think I've drafted him yet at all on Thornton. So I'm not really buying into this either. It's just that Jack Bech needs to be a slot. Like it's his position. And there's two guys that are going to play that role on the Raiders. There's obviously Myers and Bowers. There's those two guys on that team that are, and at a high level. Myers was a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Bowers was a 1,000-yard receiver last year, right? So they just are filling up that role, in my opinion. I never saw Jack Bech. Like nothing's changed as far as my take on Jack Bech and where he fits and how he should play. And if the landing spot doesn't make sense, like if he went basically anywhere else, I would be wheels up for Jack Bech. But with the landing spot, I just don't love it. If he could play on the outside, if I liked him as an outside wide receiver, then I'd be fine with it. But I just don't personally. I just think Bech is a better route runner, contested ball guy, and he has 2 rounds of draft capital on Thornton. I think they find a way to see if he can do it. I mean, yeah, I just don't think he can. I just don't think that that's his role. I really don't. So I think he's going to struggle to get on the field. I was building a Chargers stack. I pulled up Harrison Herbert was sniped right in front of me. Had to change course. Thornton going to be a monster. That's me on Thornton. That was pretty early, man. That was pretty early to take Thornton. I mean, I took Harris. I don't think I pulled him up. I think I maybe a couple picks, but yeah, I think that's a little lofty for Thornton. I'm not nearly as big on Thornton as a lot of other people. He gets the camp buzz running with the ones. I get it. Big man run fast. I get all that, but the dude just is not a very good wide receiver. That's kind of like the end of the conversation for me. He's just not very good. And name me the last Tennessee wide receiver that was like high caliber, type of a player. They're not pumping them out as much as that offense, seems like it should or would, but that's fair. But the position DT plays as traditional X, Dante Thornton. Even if Dante Thornton doesn't get the starting role, X is something Bech isn't in consideration for. Yep. Staying out of the end zone. Yeah, fair enough. Starting X wide receiver in Genty and AFC West only need 1 week. Yeah, that's fair. It's just a big pull up. I don't think you really needed it. You could have, I'm sure there's other positions you could have drafted, but I don't know. It might work out for you. And hey, like get your guys. If you got sniped, get your guys, do what you got to do. I mean, he maybe could be a Z, but again, that position's kind of, I feel like it's taken a lot of times by Myers, also in the slot, also a Z. Trey Tucker's not dead. Like Trey Tucker's a solid Z as well. I'm not sure that Bech can't be Z. Some given his route running. Yeah, maybe some. Yeah, I do agree. Bech is a big slot. There's a chance to fill it. Yeah, he could play some Z. I guess, yeah, I could get on board with that. But again, like if Trey Tucker's playing that role the majority of the time and Myers is playing that role some of the time, I guess Bech could play it some of the time and mix in with Myers. I mean, if he can pick up the playbook really well and really quickly and learn both positions, slot and Z, then maybe we could get a mix and mash between him and Myers for the most part. That's possible. It's just tough to, I mean, I'm assuming it's not going to be easy to pick up Chip Kelly's offense either. I don't know. Like if Bech can go in and learn that playbook really well, really fast, then yeah, I could be talked into this. He could play some Z. I could be talked into that. Mix it up with Myers, slot and Z. Yeah, sure. My overall point, I'm not burning a guy after a couple minutes. Is nothing to do with the minicamp practices for me. Nothing to do with minicamp for me. So I'm not burying Bech because of that. That's for sure. That is not my case whatsoever. Never has been, hasn't been. I don't care about Thornton. I really don't personally. Like I get that quid pro quo had to do what he had to do. That's fine. That's a different conversation. But the whole like fall on Bech and rise on Thornton has nothing to do with minicamp practices for me. And well, what's up, man? On his way to work. There you go. Get after it. Get that money. Pack those bags, Steve. Nothing wrong with that. I think I overspent on big board, so I'm personally good right now. Kind of agree with that, but it's still like I would still keep buying. I'm not shy on Kyle Williams. I'll tell you that much. It's just the situation that we're talking about. I'm kind of wondering if Tucker Thornton played the traditional X Myers Besh split. Because that again, if he can learn, it's going to come down to if Besh can learn the playbook in two positions, slot and Z. If he can learn it quickly, I think he could force his way on the field a little bit. I don't agree with that take. I don't disagree with that take. And 2 wide receiver sets, all things blocking, keep him on the field some. Yep. That's the Z portion of his role in that offense would be blocking and again getting some routes out of the Z. But again, that's what would keep him on the field is a lot of run blocking as the Z, because he could do that better than Myers. He could definitely do that better than Tucker. That's for sure. Agree with this. No, we're wrapped up, man. We're the chat's going off, so we're trying to keep up with the chat. But we're going to wrap it up. We're going to get out of here for the night. I know PPR Tyler is live right now with Mason. So I'm going to go check out a little bit of that, get some volume in on these poodles while I can. I was specifically talking about you, Cody, meant the buzz. Yeah. No, for sure. I know you weren't. We kind of agree. Like I agree with the Z slot take. It's just a matter of if he can learn the playbook quickly enough at both positions, which I find I think might be a little difficult. But as the season goes on, maybe he's a late season kind of guy. That's for sure. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Peace out, guys. All right, we're going to get out of here. So we're not live tomorrow. I'm hitting the golf course. Super excited. We won't be live tomorrow, but we will be back Wednesday night. Probably ripping poodles, maybe pit bulls. One of those two. Get some volume in on that. Go jump over to PPR Tyler. Watch his channel. We'll see you guys next time. As we always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we're right. We go back to the finals in the poodle. We'll see you guys next time. Have